still sit here and cry. For a lot of reasons. One, because I'm so proud of what we've done. And the performances, people, in this episode were wonderful. I have to tell you a couple of fun things that I think you'll enjoy to know some special insight about this episode. When we realized that we weren't going to be able to continue for much longer, I'd always intended to make 13 episodes. My goal was never to do it until I couldn't do it anymore, or to just kind of fizzle out. But I wanted to make one more TV season. And I wanted to finish the original series. I wanted to finish the 5-year mission that we never saw a completion to the original series. You know, we just quit in the late 60s, right? It was just canceled. And then 10 years later, you meet them all again, but lots has changed. A lot of things have changed in those 10 years. So my goal with Star Trek Continues is to fill that space between the cancellation of the series and the motion picture. And I was going to make 13, and then when the climate kind of changed due to a lot of things that don't even deserve us talking about, we decided that we could get 11 done. We weren't going to be able to get 13 done, but we could get 11 done. And we knew that 10 and 11, we wanted to be a 2-part series finale, which, by the way, are done. And wait till you see them. They're going to blow you away. You are going to sob, and at the same time, you're going to have such a sense of completion, such a satisfaction to see it all tie together. And we knew that 10 and 11 were going to be a 2-parter, but we had that one other spot to fill, 9. It was going to need to be a standalone episode. And I want to tell you how we came up with this idea, because I think it's so funny. I was traveling somewhere, and I was in an airport, and I was talking to James Kerwin, a name you'll see a lot in our series. He's directed several episodes. He's one of our producers. And I was talking to him on the phone, and we were just musing over how so many people, including me, my first experience with Star Trek was in black and white. When I was a little boy, we had a 19-inch black and white television, and that's what I watched Star Trek on. And James said to me, you know, a lot of people's first experience was in black and white. When it was released, 50% of the country had black and white television still. And then I said to James, wouldn't it be cool to come up with some story-motivated reason for why we had an episode in black and white? The nostalgia of seeing those characters in black and white again, the way they were, but it'd have to be a story reason, not just some trick or, you know, put in black and white for the heck of it. And we came up with this story about this black and white planet. And it was so perfect. And dare I say, in the current state of affairs in the world, an extremely topical episode. And let me also say that within our production, we have conservative people and we have liberal people. And our desire with this episode was not to preach at you one thing, but to present both sides of a very complex issue and let you, as an intellectual viewer, decide what you think about the issues. It's funny to me, and I know we did it right. I know we accomplished it. You know how I know? Because we had liberals writing us, telling us they thought this episode was too conservative, and we had conservatives writing us, telling us they thought it was too liberal. So clearly we did something right, right? This is also the first time you see our planet set. Now, I want to tell you a fun little behind-the-scenes story about that. We built the planet a year ago and it was a completely different looking planet. You'll see it in episode 10. We shot 10 and 11 last fall, before we shot 9. And when we finished shooting 10 and 11 and we realized we were going to have to stop, I said to my production team, damn, we spent so much time building that amazing planet set, and we got to get more than one episode use out of it. But what do? We only had 9. And the story for 9 had been written and there was no planet on 9. And so I called the girl that wrote the script and I said, what if we say that these people are so isolationist that they won't even let you beam right into their city? They have a pad outside the city you have to beam down to, and they go out and meet you and decide if they're going to let you come in. Not only does it fit perfectly with the attitude of the culture of the story, but it gave us a chance to use another planet set. Now, what you don't know, and this lovely girl right here, my dear, this young lady, Michelle, is one of your own Canadians, and she's part of our production team. If you watch our behind the scenes, you may see her up at the top of the set, holding a boom mic over top of the set. But if you ask her, she'll tell you, the planet didn't look anything like this, the one you're going to see in 10. It had to be completely redressed. And here's a technical problem I want to share with you because I think you'll enjoy the irony of it. What color? Our planet set in 10 is a desert, rocky, barren planet. And because our room was not as big as their studio in the late 60s, we surrounded it with green screen so that we could extend the horizon and make it seem much bigger than it is. What color was Kirk's uniform in this episode? We couldn't use the green screen. Now, some of you who are smart may think, well, why don't you just use a blue screen? What color are Spock and McCoy's uniforms? So I was like, oh crap, what are we gonna do? Because it's a wooded planet. Trees and leaves and bushes and greenery. Now, you're never gonna see the green because it's in black and white, but it needed to look like a wooded planet. And then I had this idea. If we were putting on a stage play, and we needed to have a cityscape or a woodscape, what would you do? Backdrop. You would paint a backdrop. So I got online and I found a place that rented different backdrops to theaters. And I picked the woodscape that I wanted. 70 feet by 40 feet was this thing. It was for a stage, for a big stage. Well, ours wasn't half that big. So we folded it and hung it up, and it worked absolutely perfectly. We brought in all these trees from outdoors and then scattered leaves all over the ground. Wasn't it beautiful? It was absolutely beautiful. In fact, I want to release these, once the episode has been out for a few months, I think we're going to put these scenes up in color. Like we'll just do like a version of them that you can see just for fun in color because they're beautiful. But we were able to get two planet sets, 2 episodes out of our planet set. Does anyone have a quick question at all? Yes?
Actually, it's the first episode I've seen of this.
That's all we got.
This is the first episode I've ever seen of Continuous First. I just want to say it's fantastic.
Thank you.
My question is, there seemed to be a lot of the talk about the Prime Directive in the episode, yet numerous moments in the TV show it was referred to as a limited warp society. So does not the Prime Directive not actually come into effect?
No, actually, my understanding was that the Federation, the rule was that you weren't allowed contact with another race unless they were warp capable. That was kind of the line that if they were warp capable, then you could make contact with them. And these people did have a limited warp capability, and they contacted the Federation because they were in need. They invited us there. So that was kind of our approach to it, was that we were invited there, and they do have a limited warp capability. But as far as the Prime Directive goes, then, you know, poor Captain Kirk, he's all over that. I mean, and I love that scene. Didn't you love that scene? Isn't Delancey amazing? Oh my God, for him to look at Kirk's face and go, who do you think you are? And to go into Kirk, and Kirk's like, who do I think I am? Like, he's got me, you know what I mean? He's right, and Kirk knew it.
I just wanted to see Kirk pull a Cisco.
But, you know, John and I have done a lot of these conventions together. That's how we became friends. And when we wrote this story, I called him and I said, I have this role in this episode that I think you would be so perfect for. And he said, well, send me the script, I'll read it. And I sent him the script and he's like, I love it. I'll do it. And so he did an amazing job. And any of you guys fans of the classic Battlestar Galactica, Annie Lockhart? Talk about sci-fi royalty, right? Her mom, June Lockhart from Lost in Space. Any questions, anybody? Yes, sir.
My name's Kirk, by the way.
Oh, nice! Love it.
Do you have any funny stories from the set, or are you going to release a blooper reel or anything?
You know what? I'm glad you said. Get everybody, go to our website. StarTrekContinues.com. That's easy enough. StarTrekContinues.com, and not only are all of our episodes, all 9, and you need to go back and watch the first 8. All of them are all there, free to watch. This is not a money-making venture. It's not a profit-making venture. This is pure love of Star Trek. I made this series because when I was a little boy, that show influenced me and inspired me creatively, intellectually, in so many ways, and I did this as a tribute. I like to tell people this is my love letter to Star Trek, back to them. And I know that a lot of people within our production all feel the same way, but go to StarTrekContinues.com and click on episodes, and you can watch all the episodes, and right there are dozens of other videos. We've got videos with features about how an episode was made. We have bloopers on every episode. We have interviews with the people that wrote the episodes. We even, you guys, some of our episodes, if you know our series, we have some of the episodes with original full orchestral scores, where a composer who happens to be a big Star Trek fan composed original music for our series, and then we got a student orchestra to perform it. So it's a real orchestra playing original tracks. What was the first one? 4. Episode 4 and 5, and then 6, and then 7 and 8. 7, 8, and 9 were track episodes, stuff that already existed, because I wanted to save him for 10 and 11. And he's doing original stuff for 10 and 11. One more question. Yes, my dear.
I have a question and a half now.
Okay.
I heard for the first disc. Are those going to be, the second half going to be available? Because I have an empty space.
You have 1, 2, 3?
Yes.
Well, you know, this is a question I wish. The problem with making DVDs and Blu-rays is you can't sell them, which means somebody has to give you the money to make them, never expecting to see their money again. You see the problem? Is that you have to spend money to make the discs, but then you can't really sell them. So we do have 1, 2, and 3 on volume 1. We did make a very limited run of 4, 5, and 6 on a second volume, and with the completion of this, we have a third volume, 7, 8, 9, and with 10 and 11 and some extras and stuff, we'll have a volume 4. Will it ever be available, like, in publicly? I don't know. I can't answer that. Let me just say, you guys, in the words of Mr. Spock, I'd like to think that there are always possibilities. I don't know I mean, we know what the climate is now, but we don't know what it's going to be like a year from now. I mean, they have been trying to clear the way for Discovery. And God bless, I hope it's great. I want Discovery to succeed. I'm excited about it. Several of my friends are on it. Jason Isaacs and I are buddies. And the girl that was the guest star in episode 8, Rekha Sharma, is on Discovery. I mean, we want Discovery to be good. But I'd like to remain optimistic that once Discovery is launched, and once they've kind of established themselves, that maybe in the future, somewhere, who knows what might be possible. Maybe CBS might decide they want to release this all take it for themselves and release it officially as official Star Trek and put it on their website. Or allow us to do something with discs. I don't know. I wish, pardon me? Kickstarter? That's hard. You know what? Actually, we can't, and I'll tell you why. Because I promised CBS we would not do any more crowdfunding. When all of the things happened that happened, we had already raised the money to make 9, 10, and 11, and when I spoke with CBS, I promised them that there would be no more crowdfunding. We have people occasionally who donate privately to help us, like with post-production. You know, the orchestra thing I mentioned, while it would normally cost tens and tens of thousands of dollars, we still have to rent the studio. We still have to have a studio engineer. We still have to buy all those poor college kids pizza, right? We've got them there all day, we gotta feed them. So there's still costs involved. But we can't do any crowdfunding. But I'm just gonna say, we do still have a website, and if you'd like to help us out, write us write our website and let us know. But 10 will be out in mid-October, and 11 will be out in mid-November. And they are outstanding. I've got to tell you, every question, everything that you want to see wrapped in a beautiful little Star Trek bow is you're gonna really enjoy. Please spread the good word. Let anybody that you know. That's our biggest problem, is people just don't know we exist, because we've not spent any money in promotion or advertising. We just make it and put it out and hope people enjoy it. So share it with people. Tell people about Star Trek Continues. Join us on Facebook. Follow us on Facebook. And I will be at my autograph table tomorrow. I know I've not met a lot of you, so I hope you'll come down and say hello. Let me know what you thought of it. I've got some really excellent Captain Kirk pictures. I like it happen. But I'll be there tomorrow and Sunday, so please come and say hello. And thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. And long and prosper, all of you.